Welcome to the Hot Rod Podcast with Ron Foreman and Brady Wright. We're the guys who eat, breathe, and live cars. Ron is the president and founder of the Rat Bastards Car Club and a longtime builder of awesome hot rods. Brady is the founder of the Idaho State Hot Rod Hall of Fame, a producer of car shows all across the Northwest, and the builder of the only rat rod ice cream truck in the state.
Hi, welcome to the show number 371. Before we get started, take a moment and hit the like and share buttons, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube and Facebook.
This week, our guests are Jim Ochs and Chris Ochs, and they are the principals of Corral Auctions. I would say carcorralauctions.com, but that really isn't it. It's carcorral.auctions, the website. And guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we do have carcorral.auction, and we also have carcorralauction.com.
Oh, well, let's have every possible way for people to get to you. So I know that, there's all kinds of other people who do online auctions. I mean, obviously eBay, and everybody knows, Barrett Jackson and Meekum aren't really online. They're on TV. But do they do online auctions as well?
I think Meekum's doing a little bit of like toys and automobilia stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think Barrett does anything online.
I'm not aware. I figured you guys would be. But I mean, my first question is, what made you think of doing this? I mean, obviously another TV show, there's a lot of production costs and everything like that. And doing something online seems like, you can do it all the time. You don't have to wait for the show to show up. So where'd all this come from?
Well, we've seen a gap in the marketplace with customer service and options. Most of the online auction platforms will only let you list for 7 days. BAT will let you do 10 days if they think it's a premium vehicle.
And BATs bring a trailer.
Yes.
Right.
So we're offering 7, 10, or 14 days.
That's pretty good.
And then we have proxy bidding. So, if a lot of people have busy lifestyles. So if they're going to be on vacation and they say, God, I really want that car, they can just put their maximum bid in and the site will take over for them.
Jim, can you tell us a little bit about proxy bidding?
The way proxy bidding works, at least on our site, is when it gets to the reserve, the site will take over and it'll actually bid in increments of $100 for you, up to your maximum bid.
Very nice. Like
auto bidding, basically.
Yes.
And when you do that, do you set a maximum?
Yeah, you set a maximum bid of what you want. It kind of takes the worry out of it. People, they could, you could say, well, I can spend $35,000 on this car. They put in and they just forget about it.
Nice. That's pretty cool. So do you have any limits to the geography? I mean, obviously being online, you're global, right? I mean, somebody could bid on a car from any place, I assume. Are there any licensing or legal stuff having to do with listing a car from someplace else?
Nope. Everything's global and everything's in our terms of use that the attorney wrote up, of course. So there's no liability and there's no restrictions for anything.
You do inspections though of the cars, make sure they're selling what they say they're selling.
We don't actually do inspection. There's too much liability on that. Somebody could come back to you and say, you guys said this car just had the motor rebuilt, and they find out it isn't. So we encourage people to do an inspection in person, or ask the owner to take it to a shop for them and maybe do an inspection for it.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
And we ask people to be honest. If you got dings in the car, tell us you got dings in the car. That just makes the owner look a little more honest if he's pointing out everything that's wrong with the car too.
Yeah. So Chris, what I'm hearing is that the ultimate liability for the provenance of the car is the owner's responsibility.
Correct. And we're asking these guys to be honest and take lots of pictures.
Right.
One year, Jim and I went to one of the bigger televised events and crawled under some of the cars that were down there for sale, and they looked good on the outside, but there was a lot of bolts hanging out of fenders and stuff. You could tell guys were rushing them to get to sale. Now, probably the other thing that Jimmy hadn't brought up is we do not dispute a person's reserve because all of us in the car culture have a different idea what something's worth. Sometimes that's down to earth. Sometimes it's a little inflated. So we leave that up to the owner. Now, another thing a lot of guys aren't aware of is if you do go to one of these Mecum or Barrett Jackson, well, Barrett Jackson, obviously no reserve, but Mecum, they get a higher premium from the seller if you've got a reserve on a vehicle.
Okay.
So we don't do that.
So you guys have a flat percentage, right? Isn't that how it works?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like 200 to 4,500, something like that.
We actually do for a buyer's premium, we're at 1.5%. It's capped at 4,500. And a minimum of, I think, 200 or 250. And right now we're running a special. It doesn't cost you anything to list a car or sell a car.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Nice.
I went on your website today and I was cruising around. I really like the frequently asked question part of your website. It's pretty neat that you have almost every question you could ever ask and the answers on that website. It's really pretty cool. I thought it was really neat that you have that on there.
Right. And fellas, keep in mind that when you go to these other auction sites, they're charging a premium on the final sale price.
Right.
To both the buyer and seller. So that's where we're trying to be. You know, we're average car guys. We're trying to do this for the average guys. Not all of us have deep pockets.
Well, speaking of being the average car guys, I want to dig into you guys' background in just a second. We're going to take a break for a sponsor. We'll come right back, and let's hear a little bit about you guys.
Will do.
Sounds good.
There's a great new family-oriented nonprofit car club in Idaho.
We're the Rat Bastards, and we want you.
Welcome all hot rods, 1969 or earlier, and orphans.
And the rough is enough.
Rat Bastards. Real steel and iron hot rods.
We are the Rat Bastards, and we want you.
We're all about old school hot rods and rat rods.
We get together, help each other build, and cruise like crazy.
Because that's the way car clubs are supposed to be.
Join us for cruisings all over Idaho and Washington.
Joining the club is easy.
A bunch of rat bastards.
Contact us through our club Facebook page or come talk to us at any event.
We have cruisings the first and third Saturday of every month.
Check out our Facebook page for information.
Email us at ratbastardsidaho@gmail.com.
Rat Bastards!
We're charter sponsors of the Idaho State Hot Rod Hall of Fame and the Hot Rod Podcast.
Rat bastards.
Rat Bastards.
In the rough is enough.
It's not what you buy, it's what you build.
It's not what you buy, it's what you build.
It's not what you buy, it's what you build.
It's not what you buy, it's what you build.
It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
The most fun you can have with your clothes on.
So before the break, we were talking about background of you guys. Who wants to go first? Jim, Chris, it's up to you guys.
Let Chris go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So background for me, there's actually an article on our website entitled The Basket Case. And so the summer of 1976, our father bought a 1930 Chevrolet two-door sedan, and it was a basket case. Most of the glass was gone. The paint was off the body. There's probably 12-inch deep of dirt in it. It came from the eastern plains of Colorado off a farm. And so that's where I got my first car experience. We rebuilt that thing, had the body completely off the frame. You know, and I and another brother sanded every square inch of that frame with 3/8 electric drills and wire wheels. That's all they had in 76.
Yeah, that was it. That was high technology for them, too.
Yeah, that's quite the eye-opener. But there is an article about that car on our site. It's been restored to original condition. 30s are kind of rare. You'll see a lot of 31s, a lot of 32s, but you don't see a lot of 30s.
Yeah, well, Ron's got a 31.
Okay. I have a 31 Model A.
But I bet it didn't have 12 inches of dirt in it when you got it.
No.
Oh yeah, we even hauled a couple mice home from eastern Colorado because we had to trap.
There were some droppings in there.
Right, but no rust. You know, coming from eastern Colorado, pretty dry climate.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite the
Yeah.
experience.
Up in this neck of the woods, in the Pacific Northwest, we know rust. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
we have
Oh, yeah.
we have a black belt in rust up here. So Jim, how about you? Let's get into your motivation for doing this.
Well, Chris got his first car, which he still has, a 68 Dodge Charger in 81 or 82, Chris.
Summer of 1981, before I was a senior in high school.
So, and we used to have a place here called West Colfax where they would cruise.
Oh, okay.
And every once in a while, my dad would make him and my other brother, take some of us younger boys with him. So going out there and seeing all these hot rods just sparked something in me. And I've just been an enthusiast ever since.
American Graffiti was one of my first heartthrobs, and the movie Hot Rod when I was a kid. What's got me started, and I can relate with you there on that. And I got thrown in the back seat a few times with my older cousins going cruising on a Friday and Saturday night as well.
Well, there was nothing wrong with taking these younger brothers with us until the girls pulled up. And then we made them lay down. We said, you guys got to get down on the back seat.
There was the other side of that, though, was if you did happen to attract a couple of girls, you had to throw the brothers out because there's only X amount of room in there.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's a small town.
Yeah. That's great. Well, so I know that most of these stories are on the website because we looked them up. There's a lot of really good stuff in there, including the FAQ, the frequently asked questions section. And I encourage, if you're watching this and you're saying, there's a lot here and I got questions, go to the website and look at the FAQ. You can really get 99% of your questions answered. And there's also a section in there of the current listings that you guys have, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously it changes all the time. And we can talk about what you've got up there right now, but if somebody's watching this 6 months from now, everything's going to be different. Let me ask you this. How often and how frequently, I guess it's the same thing, do you guys change cars? I mean, you got 7, 10, and 14 days?
Yes, and most people right now are opting for 14 days. We did some research, and 10 days is about the best timing.
Yeah,
for an online auction. So about every 14 days, it'll change, and there'll be some different stuff on there. We try to stagger it out so more people can see it. And the idea behind the 14 days was, Ron, you may not have been on there in the first 7 days, and you get on in the last 3 days, and you see a car on there you like. So we just figured a little more strategy.
Yeah. I like the Bronco and I like the GTO. Those are my two favorites you got on there right now. If I could bid, I'd bid on them.
Well, the Bronco's done with already. It didn't sell, but we are going to try to get him to put it back on there, and that thing is pristine. That's something else.
It's a beautiful car.
Yes, sir.
One of my compatriots up here in North Idaho specializes in restoring and rebuilding Broncos, and it's really cool and really horrible to go to his garage because he's got 3 of them in there he's working on now. And it's like I can't go in there. I can't stay very long because
the Bronco.
One of them will follow me home, and then my wife will yell.
That'll be that.
I don't have any more room.
Back in the late 80s, you could pick those Broncos up for $1,500.
Yeah. And who thought at the time that was going to be the most popular model out there? The most often bought. It's incredible that thing is number one. Would never have thought it.
Quite the following.
Yeah, would never have thought it. Wow. So what's coming up for you guys? I mean, how long have you actually had the key turned on for this site?
Just about a year. We launched a year ago in February, and before that, it took a little over a year to actually build the site.
Right.
So
what's
brand new.
What's the dream? What's the ultimate dream?
Yeah, what's the mission? What's your mission?
We just want to cater to car enthusiasts. We're not corporate. All the money in this is me and Chris's.
Commendable.
We just want to stay true to the vehicles. Some of the other auction sites are selling parts, and they're selling automobilia, and they're selling toys, and they're corporate. So they're looking at the bottom dollar.
Right.
I have a question.
We want to stay true to the car enthusiasts.
I have a question. I have 2 1951 COE Ford. One's a 500 and the other one's like a 450. And it's just the cabs, fenders, running boards. What if I wanted to sell just those parts? Do you guys do that?
Well, we do have a project section, so
Okay.
that would could be considered a project. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll take a project, but we're not going to sell like a set of wheels.
No, I understand that. No, these are definitely project. You can make a four-door COE out of the both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a project section on there, and
Also, I'll check that out.
So
And,
it's
and
I
Brady,
know that.
to get
Go ahead.
back to your first question about the
Yeah.
ultimate dream, is
Yeah.
I think we would eventually like to become a player like BAT, but like Jimmy said, we're going to keep this thing homegrown. It's our
That's
money.
awesome.
We've done all the homework. We are not going to go corporate. It's average car guys trying to do something for the average car guy out there,
That's awesome, you guys.
so that they don't get lost in the dust.
Yeah. And actually, that's kind of it's one side of where I was going to go. We're talking a while ago about eBay, and I mean, they're like the big dog in online auctions, but they auction everything. I mean, you can get a heater core, and it's not. I mean, I'm sure it's great business for them, and that's all grand. But you get lost in the mud. The cars, they're part of that, but they're not the driving thing. There's all kinds of. I think people buy as many heater hoses as they do cars. Maybe certainly the cars are the big bucks, but it sounds to me, and looking at your website, you guys are really about the cars. You're really about the vehicles themselves, which that's a great niche to be. I mean
And that's what Bring a Trailer has turned into, is now that they're
Yes.
corporate,
Thanks.
they've gotten into all this other stuff, and we don't want to do that. We want to stay to the vehicles. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, speaking of Bring a Trailer, I don't want to talk about them, but I do want to talk about delivery. So, what if I buy a car on the auction site? Then, what about transport? What about delivery? What about pickup? All of that kind of stuff. How does that? You guys really don't want to buy that liability, do you?
no, the attorney steered us clear of that because he said
Yeah.
as soon as you get
I'm
involved in
sure.
that, then you got another liability on your hands. So right now we have one specific transporter that we're partner with, and
Okay.
that's Sewell and Sons, and he transports for all the major auctions and small guys, and he stays true to the car enthusiasts, but he does stuff for everybody, and along the way we may pick up some more.
Right.
But right now that's who we're partnered with.
And at this point, I'm not familiar with the guy, but I mean, I'm sure he's continental United States. Does he go, outside? Go to Canada, go to Mexico? Somebody bought something there?
Yeah, he just shipped a G-Wagon, I believe, to Dubai.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's farther than Canada and
Now,
Mexico.
guys,
So
keep this in mind, though, with the transporting, a lot of guys probably won't spend the money for a high-end transport. I sold a 79 Pontiac Trans Am a couple years ago, 31,000 original miles. This thing was beautiful. And some open-aired car hauler pulled up and they jammed it on there. And I'm like, you're really going to haul this call that way? I mean, I wouldn't, but I guess it comes down to the kind of money you want to spend.
I guess. But yeah, it's like buying a $100,000 car and then putting it on a U-Haul trailer. I mean, maybe, I guess, but
Right. So like Jimmy said, that was in our best interest to kind of steer clear of that, because that's just a liability
Makes
we
sense.
don't need.
yeah. So, and obviously all of those terms are spelled out in your agreements and stuff so that everybody knows what they're getting up ahead,
Yes.
that sort of thing.
You guys still go cruising on Friday and Saturday night? What cars do you take? What kind of fun do you do on the weekends? Do you still go to car shows or have fun? And
So
do all that stuff still?
what they do here in Colorado is they have the first Saturday of every month, they have a big cruise up in Golden, Colorado.
Nice.
And they regulate it. But yeah, we both take a car. Now, a lot of these listeners out there, hopefully nobody's biased, but I always kind of had a hankering for the Mopars.
I know that.
Yeah.
I read your bio.
And that was the only reason, because most of the guys I ran around with had the Fords and the Chevys. So I wanted something a little bit different that nobody else had. And of course, my wife could kill me because every time I build something, it's about 3 times the money.
All right. So we're going to take a momentary break for the last sponsor, and then we'll come back and wrap the show up. The Idaho Hot Rod Hall of Fame is the only nonprofit organization that rewards men and women who actively promote the hot rod community, clubs, and builders all over the state of Idaho. Each year at our September awards banquet, we award a Hot Rodder of the Year, a Young Rodder of the Year, and Car Club of the Year, as well as giving out scholarship money to students in the auto trades programs at local colleges. If you want to nominate an honoree, go to idahof.org, our website, or you can email us or message us through our Facebook page. So, okay, right now what we've got is 7 minutes. So let's see if we can wrap it up in about 6. I wish we had more time. We actually should do a part 2. But let's do this. You guys were talking a little bit about what makes Corral auctions different from the other guys, and obviously we went to the FAQ, and people can go to your website and look at all of that. But if you had to sum up, I'm going to give you an opportunity to put your mission statement out on there. If you had to kind of sum up why you're there and what your goal is, what would that sound like?
You want to take it, Chris?
Yeah, our mission statement has kind of been, we're not going to reinvent the wheel here, fellas, but we are going to work diligently to keep the tire inflated.
Right on.
So that we stay on track, on focus, and stay to our original mission is car guys for car guys.
I love it. I love it.
Is there one holy grail car that you hope you would be able to list at one point or another? It's kind of an off the wall question, but I got one, but you'll never list it.
Well, we had a 70 Plymouth Superbird that didn't sell. I don't know what the holy grail would. That'd be a good question.
That'd be a pretty big holy grail. That's a pretty
because it's different for everybody, and I don't constantly want everybody to think all this guy does is eat, sleep, and dream Mopars. I mean, I love them all. It's just that's kind of my in.
Yeah.
I think the holy grail would be a 429 Boss Mustang.
Hard to argue with that.
Probably. Yeah.
I just watched on YouTube a restoration, the barn find, the 67 Shelby barn find, and it was just an amazing car. It was just like they were drag racing it. They had a bunch of parts, aftermarket parts. They put different quarter panels on it, stuff, but the original base part of the car is still there and enough to restore. It's pretty cool.
That's grand.
Wow.
Cool. Well, listen, fellas, we're just about out, so I want to really thank you for coming online. This has been Jim Ochs and Chris Ochs, brothers that are the principals for carauctions.com or carcorral.auctions. That's the one, Car Corral Auctions. They're headquartered in Colorado. They do amazing stuff online. You can go to the website, which is going to run right below us here in just a second, and we'll also put the contact information in there for you guys. And once you guys hit the end of the year, if you hit your goals, come back and talk to us and let us know what's coming up.
Absolutely.
Next. Okay. It was an absolute pleasure, you guys.
Super.
Thanks a lot, you guys.
And we encourage everybody to come on and test drive the website.
All right.
Thanks a bunch.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Man, that was fun. Those guys are really, really cool.
I envy you, man. See all those cars, be able to touch and smell and taste them. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, hey, this has been the Hot Rod Podcast. Ron Foreman and Brady Wright. We are the guys who eat, live, and breathe cars. Be sure to like and share the show and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We'll see you on the next one.
Good night.
That's it for this episode of the Hot Rod Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to our show, and we appreciate it if you smash those notification buttons too, so you'll know when a new one drops. For Ron Foreman, I'm Brady Wright. This has been the Hot Rod Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.